Americans must admire the extremely smart way Chinese people make money. What if I told you that while Americans work 40-plus hours a week for 40-plus years, Chinese entrepreneurs have discovered money-making strategies so smart they can retire in half that time? Over the past 2 decades, China has created more millionaires than any other country in the world. And it's not because of cheap labor or government support. It's because they possess ancient financial wisdom that most Americans have never even heard of. The American dream taught us to work hard, save money, and retire at 65. But the Chinese philosophy of money is entirely different. They work smart, not just hard. They understand that there's a difference between being busy and being productive, between working hard and working smart. I spent 3 years studying how Chinese immigrants become millionaires in America, while their American neighbors remain stuck in the middle class. What I discovered will completely change the way you think about money forever. Today, I will reveal 8 incredibly smart Chinese money-making strategies that most Americans overlook. Strategy number 6 will shock you. It's the complete opposite of everything we've been taught about saving money. If you're tired of the endless financial rat race and ready to learn from the masters of wealth creation, comment smart money and join me as we delve into these game-changing strategies. The first strategy will make you understand why some families can get rich together while others struggle alone. Why do Chinese families often prosper together, while American families struggle individually? It's the power of the family investment circle strategy they've used for centuries. I witnessed a Chinese immigrant family arrive in California with only $5,000. Within 10 years, they owned 3 houses and 2 thriving businesses. How could they achieve this while American families with similar incomes were still renting? The secret lies in how they organize their family finances. Instead of each person fending for themselves, as an American individualistic culture, they create what's known as a rotating credit association. Here's how it works. 10 families who trust each other each commit to contributing $1,000 per month to a common pool. Each month, one family receives the entire $10,000 to invest in real estate, start a business, or educate their children. After 10 months, every family has had access to a large lump sum they could never have acquired on their own. The beauty is that there are no bank interest rates, no credit checks, and no complicated paperwork. The system is based on trust and mutual benefit. When one family succeeds, they help lift the entire community. The family I mentioned used the first $10,000 as a down payment on their first house. The second time around, they used the money to open a nail salon. The third time, they bought another house to rent out. Each time they received the money, they didn't spend it on frivolous things, but consistently invested in income-generating assets. In American culture, we often think, I have to pull myself up by my bootstraps. But the Chinese understand that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. They create financial support networks where every member benefits. You can apply this principle right now by creating investment clubs with trusted friends or family members. Instead of each person saving individually and taking years to accumulate investment capital, create collective power together. I remember the story of a Chinese entrepreneur in Texas in the 1990s. While everyone was rushing to buy hot properties in the city at inflated prices, he quietly purchased worthless land on the far outskirts for next to nothing. His American neighbors laughed at him, calling him the crazy Chinaman buying land in the middle of nowhere. They couldn't understand why he'd invest in places with nothing but weeds and rattlesnakes. He didn't explain. He just quietly kept buying more whenever he had the money. 20 years later, the city expanded, highways were built, and the area he'd purchased became a bustling commercial hub. The land he bought for $1,000 an acre was now worth $100,000 an acre. He became one of the wealthiest people in the city. The difference lies in the perspective of time. American entrepreneurs often think in terms of profits for this quarter, next year. But this man thought in decades. He understood that urbanization was an irreversible trend, and he bet on the long-term future instead of short-term gains. This wasn't luck or speculation. It was a result of studying demographic trends, urban development plans, and understanding economic cycles. While others focused on what was hot today, he focused on what would be valuable in the future. The Chinese have a saying, "A wise man plants a tree whose shade he will never sit in." They don't just think about themselves, they think about their grandchildren. Every investment decision is evaluated through the lens of, will this benefit my family in 10, 20, 30 years? You can apply this mindset by investing in assets with long-term growth potential instead of chasing short-term trends. Think about multi-generational wealth planning. How will today's decisions impact your children's and grandchildren's future? I know a Chinese uncle in Los Angeles who owns a small Chinese restaurant. From an American perspective, he's successful. He has his own business, a stable income. But from his perspective, this is just the beginning. Every morning from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., he studies the stock market and trades. From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., he runs a restaurant. From 10 p.m. to midnight, he manages the 3 apartment units he rents out. On weekends, he tutors children in the community in Chinese and math. My American friends see this and say, he's overworked. He has no work-life balance. But I see a sophisticated financial strategy. He doesn't work multiple jobs because he's poor. He works multiple jobs to become wealthy. The restaurant provides a stable cash flow and allows him to accumulate capital. Stock trading offers growth potential and teaches him about financial markets. Real estate generates passive income and hedges against inflation. Tutoring not only brings an extra income, but also helps him build relationships within the community. He explained to me, Americans are afraid of working multiple jobs because they think it's stressful. But I'm afraid of having only one income stream because that's risky. If the restaurant has a problem, I still have 3 others. If the stock market crashes, I still have rental income. That's security, not stress. The interesting thing is that after 10 years, he was able to hire a manager for the restaurant and just oversee it remotely. His stock portfolio had grown large enough to generate significant passive income. 3 apartment units became 6. The tutoring gig evolved into a small learning center. He'd created a self-sustaining financial system. In American culture, we often think about the career ladder, climbing up in one company to earn a higher salary. But the Chinese think about income diversification, creating multiple streams of income to reduce risk and increase opportunity. You can start building multiple income streams right now while keeping your main job. Explore online businesses, invest a portion of your salary in real estate crowdfunding, or monetize skills you already have. The key is to start, however small. Which of these 3 strategies resonates most with you? Comment 1, 2, or 3 and tell us why. The next 3 strategies will challenge everything you thought you knew about how to spend money. The first 3 strategies showed you how the Chinese approach earning and managing income. But the real differentiator lies in how they spend. The Chinese buy assets that make money. Americans buy things that cost money. That's the asset-first spending rule they consistently follow. I once witnessed an interesting debate between 2 neighboring families in San Francisco. Both families earned around $100,000 a year, but how they used their money was drastically different. The American family had just purchased a brand new BMW 5 Series for $50,000. They were incredibly proud and excited about their new car, constantly washing it and showing off the neighbors. Their monthly payment was $800 a month, plus insurance, gas, and maintenance, totaling around $1,200 each month. The Chinese family, at the same time, decided to put a down payment on a small apartment in Oakland with the same $50,000. They rented out this apartment for $2,500 a month. After mortgage payments, taxes, and expenses, they had a positive cash flow of around $300 each month. After 5 years, the difference became stark. The BMW had depreciated to around $25,000, while the American family had paid a total of $72,000, monthly payments plus expenses. They had effectively lost almost $47,000. Meanwhile, the apartment had appreciated to $700,000. The Chinese family not only gained $200,000 in appreciation, but also collected $180,000 in rent over 5 years. Their net worth increased by almost $380,000. This isn't about not enjoying life or living frugally. The Chinese family still had a car, a 5-year-old Toyota Camry they bought for $12,000 in cash. This car was reliable, fuel efficient, and had no monthly payments. The difference is a mindset. Every time they had a large sum of money, they asked themselves, will this put money in my pocket or take money out of my pocket? The BMW took money out of their pocket every month. The real estate put money in their pocket every month. They applied this principle to every purchasing decision. Before buying anything expensive, they asked, could I use this money to acquire an income-producing asset instead? Often, the answer was yes. You can start applying this rule today. Before every major purchase, pause and ask yourself, is this an asset or liability? Will this increase or decrease my net worth? Sometimes you'll still choose a liability for enjoyment or convenience, but at least you've made an informed decision. David Chun, a Chinese entrepreneur I know, once told me, in American culture, people network when they need a job. In Chinese culture, we network as a way of life. And I've seen this difference firsthand. Every week, David attended at least 3 different events: business association meetings, cultural events, charity galas, or simply dim some lunches with other entrepreneurs. He didn't go to find clients or make sales. He went to build relationships and understand what was happening in different industries. Through these connections, he uncovered opportunities that no one else knew about. When a restaurant owner wanted to retire, he knew 6 months in advance and could negotiate a favorable deal. When a warehouse space was about to become available, he was the first to be informed. When a promising startup needed an angel investor, the founder approached him before pitching to venture capital firms. I remember one specific deal. At a birthday party, David met an engineer from Tesla who was complaining about his commute. He wanted to move closer to work, but couldn't afford the down payment. David immediately saw an opportunity. He offered to lend the engineer the down payment at a reasonable interest rate, secured by the house. The engineer got his dream home. David made a good return on his money, and both sides were happy. This deal could never have happened through traditional banking channels or real estate agents. It happened because David had invested in relationships. What I noticed is that David always approached relationships with a mindset of, how can I help? Before thinking, what can I get? He constantly referred business to others, connected people who should know each other, and freely shared valuable information. As a result, people trusted him and wanted to reciprocate when the opportunity arose. In the Chinese business community, there's a concept called guanxi, the network of relationships and mutual obligations. This is not about nepotism or corruption. It's about understanding that business is ultimately about people, and people prefer to do business with those they know and trust. This contrasts with a typical American networking approach, where people often have a transactional mindset. They come to events with a specific agenda, hand out business cards, and only follow up when they need something. The Chinese approach is more organic and focused on the long term. You can apply this approach by shifting your mindset from what can I get from this person to what value can I add to this person's life. Join professional associations, attend cultural events, and volunteer for causes you care about. Focus on building genuine relationships instead of collecting contacts. Remember, your network is your net worth, but only when it's built on mutual trust and value creation. In 2008, when the financial crisis hit and Lehman Brothers collapsed, most Americans were in a state of panic. The stock market dropped 50%, real estate prices plummeted, and unemployment soared. The media constantly reported on impending economic doom, creating mass hysteria. I remember those days vividly. My neighbors were frantically selling stocks to cut their losses. Real estate investors were dumping properties at fire sale prices to avoid foreclosure. Retirement accounts lost an average of 40% of their value. Everyone was talking about the Great Recession 2.0. But within the Chinese community, I observed a completely different phenomenon. Instead of panic selling, they were quietly buying. Mrs. Wong, an immigrant from Hong Kong, sold her jewelry to raise cash to buy more stocks. Mr. Lee liquidated a certificate of deposit portfolio to purchase distressed properties. Young Chinese professionals were maximizing their 401k contributions while stocks were on sale. Mrs. Wong explained her logic. Americans panic because they think short term. We think long term. The stock market always goes up and down, but America always comes back stronger. When everyone is selling, that's when smart money buys. When everyone is buying, that's when smart money sells. She learned this principle from her grandmother, who had survived numerous economic cycles in China. My grandmother always said, when rice is expensive, people buy. When rice is cheap, people are afraid. Smart people do the opposite. The results speak for themselves. The stocks Mrs. Wong bought during the 2008 crash tripled or quadrupled in value by 2018. The properties Mr. Lee acquired at rock-bottom prices appreciated significantly and generated strong rental income. This isn't about luck or perfect market timing. It's about emotional discipline and understanding market psychology. When fear dominates, prices often drop below intrinsic value. When greed dominates, prices often exceed reasonable valuations. Chinese investors understand that economic cycles are natural and inevitable. Downturns create opportunity for those with cash and the courage to invest when others are fearful. Bull markets create opportunities to take profits when others are greedy. Warren Buffett's famous quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful," is actually ancient Chinese wisdom repackaged for a Western audience. The Chinese have been practicing contrarian investing for centuries. The key difference is mental preparation. While Americans often invest based on emotions and news headlines, Chinese investors are raised with the understanding that markets fluctuate, economies are cyclical, and patience is always rewarded in the long run. You can develop a contrarian mindset by studying market history, understanding economic cycles, and most importantly, separating your emotions from your investment decisions. When everyone around you is panicking, ask yourself, is this an opportunity or a disaster? Often it's both, and smart money sees the opportunity within the disaster. Have you ever made money by doing the opposite of what everyone else was doing? Share your contrarian success story. Comment 6 if you're ready for the final 2 surprising strategies. Contrarian strategies require courage, but to truly build lasting wealth, you need a foundation that no one can take away from you. Americans treat education as an expense, but the Chinese treat it as their highest returning investment. That's the education as investment philosophy they've adhered to for millennia. I'll never forget the story of the Zhao family I met in Houston. Mr. and Mrs. Zhao worked in a laundromat, earning only around $30,000 a year for their family of 4. By American standards, they were classified as low income, but how they prioritized their spending will surprise you. While neighbors with similar income spent money on cable TV, eating out, and entertainment, the Zhao family allocated almost a third of their income to education. Their son studied piano, violin, and advanced math with private tutors. Their daughter learned coding, Chinese writing, and debate. Both attended weekend academic enrichment programs. American neighbors often commented, "Poor kids, they never get to be children." But Mr. Zhao explained, "We sacrifice today so our children have choices tomorrow." Education is the one thing no one can ever take away from them. He shared his own experience. "When I came to America, I had an engineering degree from Peking University, but my English was poor. I had to work in the laundromat. But my education helped me understand the business system, manage finances, and plan for the future. Without education, I would be stuck forever." Fast forward 15 years. The Zhao son graduated from MIT with a full scholarship and now works as a software engineer, earning $150,000 at age 25. Their daughter was accepted to Harvard Medical School, also with significant financial aid. Their investment in education paid off exponentially. But the story doesn't end there. The younger Mr. Zhao didn't forget his parents' sacrifices. He bought his parents a beautiful house and helped them upgrade to a modern laundry business. The family had escaped the cycle of poverty permanently. The Chinese approach to education goes beyond formal schooling. They continuously invest in new skills and knowledge throughout their lives. When the elder Mr. Zhao realized the laundry business was declining due to technology, he enrolled in community college to learn business management and digital marketing at age 50. "Americans think education stops after college," he said. "Chinese people think education stops when you die." The world is always changing, so we must keep learning to stay valuable. This contrasts sharply with the American attitude, where many view continuing education as a burden rather than an opportunity. Chinese immigrants frequently attend workshops, take online courses, earn new certifications, and learn emerging technologies regardless of age. They understand that in the knowledge economy, skills become obsolete quickly. The only way to maintain earning power is to continuously upgrade your capabilities. Education is not an expense. It's an insurance policy against economic irrelevance. You can apply this mindset by allocating a specific portion of your income to learning. Whether professional certifications, online courses, books, seminars, or hiring a coach, treat education investment as a non-negotiable expense, just like rent or utilities. Michael Zhang owns 3 businesses in Seattle: a nail salon, a boba tea shop, and a tutoring center. None of these businesses are particularly glamorous or high-tech. None of them are featured in Forbes or TechCrunch. But combined, they generate over $20,000 in monthly cash flow, allowing Michael to live comfortably and reinvest in real estate. I asked Michael why he doesn't pursue more exciting ventures like tech startups or high-growth projects. He laughed and said, "American entrepreneurs chase big exits and unicorn valuations. Chinese entrepreneurs chase monthly rent checks." He explained, "My nail salon makes a steady $3,000 profit each month. The boba shop brings in a consistent $2,500. The tutoring center generates $4,000 during the school year. These numbers are boring to Silicon Valley, but very exciting to my bank account." Michael's philosophy represents a fundamental difference in business thinking. American entrepreneurs often swing for the fences, looking for that one big score that will make them a millionaire overnight. Chinese entrepreneurs prefer to hit consistent singles and doubles that accumulate over time. "When I was younger, I also dreamed of building the next Google," Michael admitted. "I wasted 3 years and all my savings on a failed tech startup. Then I realized Google already exists, but my neighborhood needs a good nail salon." His current businesses may not scale to billion-dollar valuations, but they provide something more valuable: predictable monthly income that covers living expenses plus investment capital. Michael isn't dependent on outside funding, market timing, or viral growth. He builds businesses that serve real needs in the local community. Focusing on cash flow also provides resilience. When COVID hit and the tutoring center had to temporarily close, the nail salon and boba shop continued to generate income. Diversified cash flow protected him from complete business failure. More importantly, consistent cash flow allows Michael to invest in real estate without over-leveraging himself with debt. He uses the business income to purchase rental properties, creating additional passive income streams. Now his real estate portfolio generates more money than the businesses, but the businesses provided the foundation. Profit is an opinion. Cash flow is a fact, Michael said, quoting something he learned from his uncle. "You can manipulate profit numbers with accounting tricks, but cash flow is what actually hits your bank account." American business education teaches us to optimize profit margins, market share, and growth rates. Chinese business wisdom teaches cash flow stability, customer retention, and sustainable operations. Both approaches have merit, but the Chinese method provides more security and peace of mind. Could focusing on cash flow instead of profits make you wealthier faster than you ever imagined? Could boring, stable businesses provide a better life than exciting, volatile ones? Now you know 8 incredibly smart strategies that Chinese people use to create wealth systematically and sustainably. These strategies aren't about cultural superiority or ethnic advantage. They are universal principles that anyone can apply and adapt to their own circumstances. The key is not to implement all 8 strategies at once. It's about choosing 1 or 2 that resonate most strongly with your current situation and starting to implement them consistently. Small changes in approach can lead to huge differences in results over time. Chinese wealth-building wisdom is not about working harder or being smarter than everyone else. It's about working differently, thinking longer term, and making decisions based on principles rather than emotions. These strategies have been tested through centuries of economic upheaval and proven effective across cultures and countries. Comment "smart money" if you're ready to apply Chinese wealth-building wisdom. Which strategy will you try first? Share your plan below. Accountability increases the likelihood of success. Want to learn specific Chinese investment strategies that turn $1,000 into $100,000? Or ancient Chinese business principles still used by billionaires today? Let me know what interests you most in the comments. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If your current financial strategy isn't working, perhaps it's time to learn from those who have mastered the art of wealth creation for millennia. The Chinese have been wealthy longer than America has existed. There might be something to learn from their methods.